What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Around the World in San Francisco. As you can see me here, I'm just trugging along, going pretty fast here on Market Street. It's kind of cold. This is on a Friday night, and so a lot of people are inside, and I'm just giving them their food. There's a biker right here. I'm not going to try to pass him. While we're in a bike lane, because I'm not in that much of a hurry, but right here, I'm probably gonna pass him up. Let's see. Boom. That's because my bike is electric, a little bit electrically assisted. As you can see, I have a little throttle there, so I can use that to give me a little extra juice, and I can pass up those manual bikers. But I'm not doing that to show off. I'm just trying to get my food to my customer as fast as possible so it can be warm. Anyway, today what I'm going to talk about is while I was on this ride today, I had an encounter with a woman who was she was walking in a bridge, and or she was walking through a tunnel, and I was right behind her, and so I asked her if I could pass by because I was on my bike, and so I walked my bike past her, and I was playing some of my music. It was The Lonesome Death of Hattie Carroll, Bob Dylan's song. I was playing it on the harmonica, and she could hear the harmonica, and she's like, "Oh, that's so nice, you're playing music so you can listen to that, and then people in front of you can hear you if you're coming." I said, "Yep." And we had a pretty long conversation after that. I don't get to have too many in-depth conversations. Oh, there's a girl who has a cat in her backpack. That's pretty cool. There's a see-through backpack. She had a white cat in there. Anyway, I don't get to have long conversations with people right now, just because of the way the world is. Everyone's always on the go. Everyone all has their own thing to do. San Francisco especially, the cost of living is so high, and so people are like really they have to stay really kind of focused on what they're doing, and the little leisure time that they have, they probably spend it with people that they know well. And so anytime I get a chance to have a deep conversation or any conversation with people, I take the time to do it. So I talked to her for like 15-20 minutes, and she revealed to me that she was actually a communist, that she really supported communism and this and that. And I don't support communism. I think it's the worst thing that happened to the world. So many people have died. So many countries have been destroyed because of communism. But I listen to her anyway because I have compassion for her, and just want to communicate with another person. And but what she was saying was that all of these protests and all this kind of stuff, she felt it was having the opposite effect from what these people were trying to do, right? Because ultimately, these protests for Black Lives Matter and all this stuff, it's really about the election. It's about 2020, and they don't want President Trump to be reelected. That's really what it's about. I don't care what anybody else says. We all know that's what it's about. And but she was saying, all this violence that they're using, all this hatred that they're using, it's going to draw people the other way. She said she felt that a lot of blue states were going to turn red. She felt that even the House of Representatives could become Republican as well. And she feels that it's going to be a landslide in 2020, and it's their fault, these people who are promoting this sort of violent behavior. She also said that she, instead of using chanting and yelling on this and stuff, she said that they should be using music and dance to awaken people. And that's how it was like back in the 60s. They had like little festivals here and there, right? You had a festival where somebody played, and it became like a hot spot for culture, and people became like really inspired, right? And then there would be another spot, and so it's all based around like harmonious ideas, peace, love, music, these kind of things. Whereas now, a lot of this, it's not really art. What they're doing, a lot of it is just vandalism, honestly, right? So that's what she was talking about. to me, and I thought that was pretty enlightening, because even for someone who's on the polar opposite spectrum of me, she still recognizes and realizes what's happening, right? She's not so blind that she's delusional to the point that she thinks like this stuff is actually going to work, that people are going to support this violence and vote for Joe Biden, right? And that's the other thing that a lot of people don't realize. They think like all this protesting is people in support of Joe Biden. I don't think so. I think people are just frustrated with the system, honestly. And honestly, if they really knew what was going on, they would know that it's actually Trump, President Donald J. Trump, who is changing the system, right? Because why would everyone who's in power right now be so opposed to him? Aren't they the system, right? They are the system. So if he's doing something that changes the system, won't they be upset? Won't they be angry? Right? So that's really what's going on. And today there's a rally going on in Oklahoma, in Tulsa, for President Trump. It's one of his first big rallies, and apparently there were 1 million people who RSVP'd, and Tulsa only has a population of 400,000. So these people are coming from everywhere, right? And so, what these people did, I'm going to call them the far left, right? These people who are destroying statues, vandalizing things, all of this stuff, they created a opposing energy, right? And it made people want to support President Trump even more, right? It's like, I'll use a sports analogy, right? Let's say your quarterback, let's say Tom Brady, right, is being attacked in the media for something, right? They're accusing him of some scandal, right? This and that. Like, what happens is the people who are on his side, they see what's going on, and so they attach to him even more. Like, they support him even stronger, right? And that's what's happening right now, is we're seeing a strong pull. And ultimately, it's sad because a lot of these kids, I think, don't honestly know what's going on. They're just caught in the emotion of it. Their friends are a part of this, and they don't see any other solution, so they attach themselves to this sort of movement. But they're going to be on the losing end of history, right? They're going to be disappointed with the outcome, let's just put it that way, because Trump is going to win. He's going to win by a landslide, and the remnants of the deep state, are going to be kaput, right? They're going to be destroyed, and that's why this last reign is so strong. So, second thing I'm going to talk about is President Trump had a conversation with his son, Donald Trump Jr. They had in like a sit-down interview, and it was really good. It was really nice to see like a father and son communicate like that. And it was funny because they opened up, and President Trump said he didn't like his son's beard. He thought it didn't look good on him, and I thought that was pretty telling of his character. Is that he's not interested in placating to people, or giving into people's emotions, or he doesn't care if people like him or not, ultimately, even his own son, right? So he just told him, I don't like your beard. And that's very honest. And at least in a leader, that's what you want, right? But anyway, at one point toward the end of the interview, Donald Trump Jr. asked him about Roswell and like aliens, and it was like kind of joking, tongue-in-cheek, but behind every joke there's some kind of truth to it. And President Trump said that a lot of people ask him about that, they all want to go there. And I think this is like gradually opening up the door for what's eventually going to come. It could even come soon. I don't know how soon, but probably within the next few years, is to reveal that there is life on other planets. There are extraterrestrials, this kind of stuff. I don't know how deeply they'll go into the influence of extraterrestrials, or like how extraterrestrials interact with human beings and all this. But they do exist. Human beings are not the only people, right? And, for a lot of people, I think that's a big shock, especially, let's say, people who are very religious, right? They would think, oh, if there's aliens, that means there's no God. It's like, no, that's not what it means. There's definitely divine creator, right? But the amount of beings that exist in the universe are countless, right? There are so many beings in the universe, what we would call extraterrestrials, right? And I think that's going to get revealed here in the coming time. The only question is, like, is it revealed by the good guys, the Alliance, right? Or is it revealed by the deep state, as used as one of their chips to, like, scare people, right? So that's the only question for me that remains. And so here you can see I'm locking up my bike, just about to go pick up another order. And this about finishes up another episode of Around the World in San Francisco. I really enjoy doing this. It's a good vehicle for me to get my thoughts out, because I use Facebook a lot, which is like, I like it because it's immediate. You can get a message out to people like instantly, like all around the world, right? I have friends in Hong Kong, Greece, England, Canada, so I can get a message out, right? But something like this, it just allows me to sit down and talk and get my thoughts out, and I really enjoy that. Really appreciate everyone for listening, and tune in for the next episode of Around the World in San Francisco. Thank you so much.